Alice, Alice will be joining us pretty soon, I'm sure.
Okay.
Hanana, you can come over here and see me. No, you're just all nice quiet there. Na's had a hot day laying around the house, being in the heat all day. Hanana.
Ooh.
How are you guys faring on this hot day?
98 degrees.
It's pretty hot.
Pretty warm for me too.
Yeah.
I went out for a little bit, but I'm back.
We actually
just-
went out and biked around 8 o'clock, 8:30, was it?
Oh, nice, huh?
It was just starting to get charcoal briquette, but we got home.
Yeah. It was really nice on, was it Monday? Monday it was really nice. Cool. Surprisingly. They even got to pull a few weeds.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Wow. That was household insulation. So I went out to get one thing from the car and I got baked just going out there and coming back. It's cooler indoors.
Yeah. Do you have air conditioning?
No,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible. Impossible?
Well, I've got a fan overhead and I've got an air conditioner in the kitchen window over here. So
Oh, good for you.
I'm good. I'm in good shape.
We have nothing here except an attic fan that comes on when the attic gets hot. So
And it's still on.
Oh,
that's all we got.
yeah. Well, it's just a small air room conditioner, but if I keep all the other rooms closed, the one that the sun
Sure.
hits, then it's okay.
Good.
So where are you taking the seniors this week? Yeah,
Actually off to Paris.
Paris.
We
Wow.
did a good talk. Joan really made it smooth and worked. It was smoothly written. And then I'm presenting it now in 3 different senior centers.
Have you been there?
Yeah, both Joan and I have been there. So it's like we could call on some of our own experiences.
In the distant past.
Only 50 years ago.
For
1965.
me, it's more than 60 years ago.
For me, it was
Wow.
1965.
Well, it's a good thing you got it done while you can.
Exactly. When it was $630 round trip for all 8 weeks,
Wow.
airfare, etc. You cannot knock that. Bicycles are different. I'm trying to call Anne to find out if she's still coming. Hi, are you still going to come to class? Yeah. Oh, come on back. Alrighty. Talk to you soon. Yes. Oh, Aaliyah, did you send the link to Anne as well? Or just to your mom?
Well, I will resend it to Anne as well here.
Oh, thank you. Okay, coming your way.
Hi, this is
Technology.
Leah.
Okay, let's go.
I'm resending out a link now to make sure you have the right one, because sometimes, I get mixed up and I don't get everybody the right link. So I'm going to resend you the link to make sure you're trying on the right one.
Great.
Okay.
Almost too hot to ask what you did this week that you enjoyed, because mostly it's baked, oven off, baked.
Yeah.
Right now. Okay, bye.
It's a challenge for me not to use the oven or the stove for our meals. We're trying to be as no heat as possible. And still, you gotta make eggs sometimes. You gotta do other stuff.
There's only McDonald's.
There's true. And there's Eric's and there's Pandora's box, which is called Panera. We've been doing okay. Every once in a while, you get extravagant and go up. Vitalis. Vitalis is Italian, and it's 24,
yeah.
25 a piece. Good food, but it's way expensive.
We have a tradition of going for dinner on Aaliyah's nights of her class. We have some kind of sandwich, either egg salad sandwich or tuna fish sandwich. So we come when the class is over. We each go have a sandwich. We don't cook a big meal.
Got a bunch of hard-boiled eggs ready to work, and Joan's really good at it.
Alice is here. Yay.
I don't,
Hey, Alice. Hi.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yay.
Well, oh, you can see?
Yeah.
Can you
Yes.
can hear me? Okay, good.
And
Oh, keep going. See, you keep improving.
Oh my goodness. I just want to say before we start how very surprised and happy I was to hear that they prayed for me at the service. David had a very nice prayer. It just about made me cry, I'll tell you.
Nice.
It was one.
That is really good.
Oh yeah, I just like I told him, if my legs weren't hurting so bad, my knees weren't hurting so bad, I could come in person. But he knows I won't weak. So.
Well, you look good.
Oh, thank you.
So what she's talking
Thank
about
you.
is that every Sunday in church, right before the sermon, who's ever preaching praise, and they often will pray for any congregants that they know of that are in need. So last week they prayed
That's-
for Alice.
I
Yeah,
like
that-
her.
Thank you.
Prayer circles are nice.
They do help, let me tell you.
Okay, well, the last few people are coming in. Let's go ahead and get started. Would somebody read Romans 12, verses 11 through 13?
I'll do it because I got it open.
Excellent.
All right, let me see. 11. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. And that's the end of 13.
I got a bone to pick with somebody. Necessity of saints? What does that mean? I don't know how to interpret that. What the
But
saints
not
are saying.
lagging behind in diligence is what the first part of verse 11 talks about. Is so Paul is basically saying, look, don't be lazy.
Yeah, okay. Be
Paul may
diligent.
have had some issues in other churches he was founding and pastoring that people did not like to work hard. So I think something maybe he's anticipating needing to tell the Romans that too, that this is a common thing that
Yeah.
churches
Okay.
face, is that they end up with a lot of people who don't want to do anything difficult.
Interesting.
So the questions I have: what mindset is indicated by Paul needing to make this statement?
I don't know if this is right, but I just have devoted to one another in brotherly love. I don't know if that's what they're looking for.
That is what Paul wants to happen. But I think what's he's thinking, look, Christianity is a lot of work. It's human nature not to want to do a lot of work. So he's anticipating that maybe the
Well, life
people
is a lot of
mind
work.
not to do a lot of work and to try to avoid stuff.
Yeah. Well, life is a lot of work, and if the church is taking care of everybody, some
Uh-huh.
people might say, "Oh, somebody else will, get
Mhm.
enough to feed me."
Mhm.
And I guess that sometimes happens in churches that are communist or not, in
Well, I mean, a
small.
lot of churches have various ministries where they ask congregation in general to do something, like the children's ministry. They ask everybody to try to, as many people as possible, to try to do one Sunday a month where they do children's ministry. And that's for if you have enough people, then everybody can just do one Sunday. But sometimes it happens, well, not enough people volunteer, so the current volunteers are having to do multiple Sundays, which is actually sort of hard on people. So.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it is working for the church. It is implied here, serving the Lord. But
Uh-huh.
I think anything we do for anybody is serving the Lord. Anytime we show kindness
Mm-hmm.
or volunteer to do something extra or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's always serving the Lord, I think.
Yeah, the people that have been helping get me to church and stuff are doing something to help the congregation here.
I wrote down eagerness. I think Paul wants eagerness, that we would do these things eagerly.
Yes, he does want them to do it equally. So what beliefs or ideas could lead to a mindset that would be doing such things eagerly?
That's just a reminder that Jesus died for us.
Yes, and I also think there's the idea, is God going to reward us for what we do? And if it's true that God is going to reward us for what we do, that might motivate us to be.
I think the reward is right now, what you get when you serve in terms of your life being enriched.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it won't also be an eternal reward, but
Mm-hmm.
the emphasis is not on, oh, this
Yeah.
is going to happen after I die. No, it's here and
Here and
now.
now.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about that, it's the excitement I get when I see God's plan in work. Someone's doing something that worked right, whether it came through me or not, and that's exciting. So that's part of what I look for.
Mm-hmm.
Excitement, but it isn't like selfish. I'm just, wow, that's neat. Look at that. Another one worked.
Yeah, so when I was looking at these verses, preparing this Bible study, I thought of Pastor Rogers' sermon last week, or it was a week before last on Nehemiah 3. So, where he's talking about how Nehemiah and the Israelites are going through this time where God is asking them for more work because he wants to do something to rebuild Israel at this time. So, we're going to look at Nehemiah 3 if somebody would
Who wants to read? Hey, Ann.
And there we go.
Nehemiah 3, chapter 3, verse 5, if somebody would look that up and read it. So the
Is it
Israelites
3:5
have
or 5:3? 3:5.
3:5. This is the prophet Nehemiah after the Israelites have been come back from exile in Babylon, and actually they came back from Persia directly. It's the Persians that have said, okay, yes, you can go back and rebuild. And so this is during
So,
the time Israelites have come back and they're starting to rebuild.
so are there at this point? This is talking about rebuilding the wall around the city, right?
Yes. This is the rebuilding of the wall in Jerusalem.
Historically, Persians have not been friends with the Israelis.
Yes, but
No,
there
no,
was a
no,
period of time under Cyrus the Great where God was apparently working in these Persian kings' hearts and said God had a purpose where he wanted Israel to be rebuilt, so he would work with the Persian kings to make that happen. So
Amazing.
right.
So what is the verse? What are the verses?
Nehemiah chapter 3, verse 5.
Okay, thank you.
Next to them, the Tekoites
Mm-hmm.
made repairs, but their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work of their lord. Now, who are the Tekoites? Who are they?
So there's all these ethnic or semi-cultural groups that are sort of Jewish, but also sometimes mixed with surrounding people that are now in Israel, in Jerusalem. Some are primarily identified as Jews, some no, they have mixed ancestries and maybe only sort of identify as Jews. So we don't know exactly what this is one of the groups in the area. We don't know their exact background, but they're living
Okay.
in Jerusalem at this time.
And then it goes on to say in verse 6, moreover, Jehoiada, the son of Parseth, and Meshulam, the son of Besodele, repaired the old gate. They laid its beams and hung its doors with its bolts and bars. So those another groups are working on the gate, huh?
Well, it may be part of the same group. We don't know for sure, but anyway, the work in this area was getting done. So why do you think the nobles in verse 5 decided not to help rebuild the wall?
Could it be that they had no money? They had to borrow money to pay their king's taxes?
It could be a lack of resources that then they need to concentrate on making money for their own families to live off of. And so they didn't want to take time off to go work on the wall. It could be that that's what's happening.
Right.
Scarcity.
Or
You
it
can't
could
build your
be
own
that
family
they
and do
just,
something.
it says they were nobles, they may have felt that they were above that kind of work.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
a
possibility.
yeah. I think Nadine's right. They felt they were above that kind of work.
Yes, in fact, the only
Right.
characteristic God actually mentions about them was that they were nobles. Might be that they were being, look, I'm a noble. I don't want to actually do any manual labor, and they didn't want to
Right.
think
That's
that was
true.
their business. And so,
Within this talk, hasn't that concept come up twice of people who weren't willing to work to a capacity that they were being asked to work? Now the nobles are doing the
well, I
same
mean,
thing.
because Paul
Maybe.
mentioned it in Romans, that's what caused me to go to Nehemiah, so I could find a parallel instance that
Ah,
expand on what's happening in Rome by looking at this time when Israel went through this thing where some people didn't want to work. So it's not just the Bible saying something. It's like I am making the coincidence where I am looking for a parallel in the Bible to what's happening in Romans to try to see if we can find out more about what Paul is talking about in Romans. So
that's
Okay.
in Nehemiah 3 to look at this situation. So
that's insightful research. Good work.
yeah, so
Yeah, I was wondering.
what do you think the nobles in Nehemiah 3 here were expecting when they decided not to participate? What did they think would happen?
But the work wouldn't get done.
Well, it would just take longer, I guess they would expect, but it would still get done because the other people would do it.
I do think they were expecting other people to do it, and we saw in verse 6 that yes, other people were doing it. Somebody was doing it, so.
Did they feel like they didn't need to because somebody else is doing the job?
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Hard to tell what their motivation
If
was.
they understood the fact that other people would have it, that may have been a factor in their decision.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah,
let's
they're
look
citing
at
who did all this work. They're telling who did this. These ones did this part, and these ones did this part.
yes,
These
it's
ones
a
did this part.
long. Basically, Nehemiah goes around the whole edge of the wall, saying, "Okay, these people did this part. These people did this part." So he circles the wall of Jerusalem, showing there was
Yeah.
all these people working on the wall. And these nobles are the only one he mentioned that didn't work. So let's look at Nehemiah 4:19-20, where Nehemiah again mentions nobles.
14, 4,
So
19
the
to
next chapter,
21.
chapter 4, verses 19-20.
I got that.
Just saw that.
I said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, the work is great and extensive, and we are separated, far from one another. Whatever place you hear, oh, whatever place you hear the sound of the trumpet, rally to us there. Our God will fight for us.
No cell phones.
Right. So this, yes, this is the time long before cell phones. They have people working on the wall in various places, but they're not all in a connected line necessarily. So
Wow.
Do they expect to be attacked at some point? Is that why the trumpet
yes,
sounds?
why they would put this in place was that okay.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of a volunteer fire department. Something goes and everybody shows up.
They did have a history at this point of people in the area saying, look, a resurgent Jerusalem is going to cause problems for us. Maybe we should do something to stop Jerusalem before they finish the wall. So,
Oh,
and so they had done things like write to the Iranian king saying, these are troublemakers, do not let them have a fortress here, it's going to be chaos. And they had succeeded in getting the work stopped temporarily, at least at times, by telling Persia that these people were causing trouble by rebuilding a fortress. So there was a history that said, yes, these other people do not necessarily like us.
it's a back and forth history. Yes, we want to build it. No, destroy it.
So God wanted Nehemiah to travel back with the king's blessing to rebuild the walls and the temple of Jerusalem, right?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
God wanted the Jerusalem rebuilt because this is at the end of the prophecies in Jeremiah and Isaiah that said, look, Israel's going to be in exile for 70 years and then they come back. And so we see in Daniel and other prophets that, yes, he's saying, yes, this is the time, go ahead and come back. So
Okay.
this is part of God's plan that we see them coming back.
This is all the returning to Israel people. Diaspora, they're spread, returning back, they're coming back.
Yes, so some of these are people God had initially said, look, I'm sending you in exile. Go ahead, settle down. Make a life for yourself in Susa or wherever you end up. But you are going back, and now is the time when he said, yes, go back now. So
Yeah.
these Ezra and Nehemiah, these prophets that God blessed with powers and divine word, he started saying, yes, people come back now. So if God at this point is pressing Noah to take part in the work and be at least around the wall to be on call, do you think these nobles are better or worse off than if they had volunteered in the first place?
That's a hard question to answer. If they haven't emigrated and then come back, so if they always stayed put.
No, if when they came back, when people already said, look, everybody's rebuilding the wall, let's all go rebuild the wall. They said, okay, we'll help rebuild the wall. How would that change our situation now when now Nehemiah is saying, look, everybody has to stand around the wall, and when the trumpets go, everybody has to go fight.
Woof.
That's a good point.
I think that
I think much can be accomplished when you align yourself with the will of the plan of God. That's what.
Yeah.
And look, the areas of the wall that were least likely to be attacked were the parts of the wall that were well built and finished now. So if you had been taking the part by your house and helped build it and it was now finished, that would be your default station at the wall and you would be unlikely to be attacked. You would also have sort of built up a comradeship with your neighbors And so even if you were attacked, you would be now fighting with friends on at your side.
Mm-hmm.
So there probably would have been an advantage if they had answered God's plan initially first, before Nehemiah started pushing everybody to help in the military thing.
Selfish guy. It's let you and him fight.
Mhm.
I never thought much of Nehemiah. Now I think less.
Well, I mean, if God's plan is for Jerusalem to be established as a city again, it's got to be able to defend itself and establish
Yeah.
itself as, look, people should not attack Jerusalem because it does not work and you do not get loot from it because you do not get in and be able to loot the area. So
Right, right.
Well,
Hey,
I
that's
also
my
think there
Nehemiah's
was
vision.
more. I think there was more to it. I think God wanted his people to return to him and start worshiping him.
Yes,
They'd
and you
lost
look
their
at all of
custom.
Ezra and Nehemiah, there is this whole thing about God is working through how you need to start the sacrifices at the temple again. They're rebuilding the temple too, and
Yeah.
it's
And
not just
God,
a wall, it's a whole system of living in Jerusalem with God that God is restarting here.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone changed their beliefs, the nobles or other people, after this whole situation came about?
I think they had more faithfulness in their worshiping.
Maybe they had more faith that God would fulfill what he said he was going to do, maybe because
Yeah.
that yes,
Yeah.
walls are getting rebuilt and Jerusalem is being reestablished.
Yes, you can see it visibly right there. You know, that wall, it's big. Yeah.
So what about in the New Testament when the people are not being as diligent as they should? What are they working on then? It's not like building a wall.
Well, I mean, they are working to build God's kingdom in the fact they're trying to build this community where everyone will love one another and this community will show God's love in action and therefore point the way to how God wants things to be.
So it's people building rather than wall building.
yeah,
That's a
Community
good way to
building.
look at it. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, we do see Nehemiah this idea where God is saying, look, there are rewards. We get a better community situation if we do our work together to build us up and to
Yeah.
cooperate with God's plans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And next week we're
Everybody
going to
working
look
together. Good plan.
at blessing others and rejoicing with others.
Which is agape.
Hmm.
Joy,
There you go.
the joy of working with others is
Mm-hmm.
somewhat in that word. It's not gape either. Exactly.
Okay, is there anything else anybody wants to say on these verses before we go to prayer time?
I think we did get through there a lot of